Hello and welcome to the HEL Performance workshop. We've neglected the GSXR750 project a little bit recently, so although it may not look like that on YouTube, so we thought we'd drag it out before I disappear off to the TT and do another job on it. One of the main reasons is we had a delivery from HEL Performance. They very kindly supplied me with a set of brake lines for the bike. I use HEL brake lines on everything, as you would have seen on videos that I've done before. So I emailed the guys and said, look, I've got this project bike, can you sort me out a set of lines for it? And they kindly obliged. So yeah, here we are. A full set of race lines, and we've just got a normal sort of setup here where we've got, let's work out which one's which. So that's our rear brake hose, comes with the rubbers on it and everything to sort of go through the fittings or fixings on the bike. And then a pretty standard sort of two lines set up for the front. So those two go up at the master cylinder and those two down to the calipers. So pretty straightforward, supplied with all brand new stainless banjo bolts and copper washers. Nice sheet of stickers, gotta love a sticker. And also a sort of little instruction sheet and whatnot as well. And like I've said before in previous videos, there's a bit in here which tells you about how you can rotate the fittings so that they line up nicely and the hoses aren't twisted or anything like that. So yeah, that's about the size of it. So what we've got to do is get the old brake system drained down, and I've just realised that my mains powered vacuum bleeder is actually at the Lee Hardy Platinum Racing workshop, so I can't use that. I'll have to use the old air operated one. So we'll get the brake system bled down, get the old lines off. We'll clean the front brake calipers, see what pads are in it as well, and then get the new lines fitted and bleed them all up, and we'll be good to go. Right, so in the previous video where we stripped the whole front end out, we took the sort of brake calipers and front master cylinder off as one whole unit. And what I've done is I've actually bolted the front brake master cylinder to one of my engine mount brackets on my engine brake to keep it, engine bench even, to keep it up out of the way. And I'm going to drain it. Now, this setup has one line running to one caliper, then another line over to the other caliper. So theoretically, if we drain it from here, it should take everything out of both systems. But we'll get the old vacuum bleeder on at all points, try and get the system bled down as well as possible. What I did do before removing the calipers is actually undone the brake pad pins, because they're a lot easier to get undone whilst the caliper's still bolted in place than trying to do them when you're holding them. Now, really valid point, when you're trying to undo these, they do have a habit of being over tightened by people and they do round off really easily. So make sure you're using a really well fitting Allen key or hex key when you're trying to undo them, and just be patient with them. And again, when you're doing them up, people tend to get a bit carried away. So, you know, follow the manufacturer's recommendations on torque settings if you've got calipers that use those sorts of pins. But yeah, let's get this system drained down and get it all stripped out and cleaned up. Right, cleaning brake calipers. Contrary to popular belief, brake cleaner is not for cleaning brake calipers. It's for cleaning contamination of brake discs and such like. It's a degreaser. Brake calipers, if you start using brake cleaner on them, when it gets into the seals, it can actually damage the seals and then cause you issues. It can dry them out, make your calipers bind and stuff like that. So not really something you should be using, as strange as that may sound. Best thing to use, literally soapy water and a toothbrush. With a toothbrush you can get in, you know, all around the pistons. And there are also tools, if I can get mine, that you can get like this, and that's job is for rotating the pistons. So you put it in here and you turn the piston, and that way you can get to some of the dirtier bits that you wouldn't get to if you didn't turn it. So, and that is basically it. Soapy water, good brush, get all the dirt and rubbish off them, dry them off, and away you go. Let's get cracking. That is the calipers all cleaned up. Not too bad at all, to be fair. The pads that are in it, they are SBS race sintered pads, which are kind of what I would class as a fast road, slight intermediate sort of entry track pad. So they will do really for track days. Depends how fast you are really. And the faster you want to go, probably, you know, if you want to be in the advanced group, really you want to be using a dual carbon or a dual sintered, but these will do the job. As you can see, these have still got the sort of anti-squeal shims on. I'm going to leave those on. Some people would take them out, but they also do help to kind of dissipate heat or take heat away from the caliper and the brake fluid. So, you know, it's worth leaving them in. It will brake better with them in my opinion. So really all we've got to do is pop them back in. Then we're going to bolt the whole system back on the bike as it is, and then we'll take the hoses off once it's all bolted back on. But before we put the pads in, let's have a look at these little pins. So you see they've got this little seat here. We want to put a dab of grease on that bit, because that will stop them getting stuck in, because they do like to get stuck. So a little bit of grease on those when they go in, torque them up to the factory spec. We'll get the calipers bolted back on. Again, caliper bolts all bolted up to factory spec, and then we'll crack on with these lines. Right, so obviously I've cleaned the calipers, I've drained fluid out and stuff. Because I haven't got my mains operated vacuum bleeder here, the air operated one doesn't bleed as much fluid out as well. And obviously if you guys at home are doing the brakes, you're not necessarily going to have a vacuum bleeder. So you're always going to be left, even if you sort of pump out as much of the fluid as you can, you're always going to be left with some in the system. So my sort of recommendation when you're sort of doing that, try and stop getting brake fluid everywhere, is to sort of take the hoses off at the bottom first and have a drip tray or something underneath, so that when you take the hoses off you can let them bleed out. But when you take the hose off the caliper, if you can bolt another hose, the fresh, you know, the new hose on the caliper as soon as possible, then you're going to minimise sort of spilling fluid everywhere. So that's what we're going to do now. I've got the front hoses here, and it's always just worth having a look at them to work out which one's for which side, because obviously the master cylinder's on the right of the bike, and we've got a caliper on the left and a caliper on the right. So the caliper on the left needs the longer hose. So we've got the upper ends matched up there, and then you'll see that one on the left, my left, is slightly longer. So that's going to go to the left caliper. So we'll get that undone on this side, bolt this one on, sort of change it over as quick as we can, and then we'll do the same on that side. We'll leave the hoses sort of dangling and draining into a drip tray underneath, and then we can undo the top one and get the new double banjo bolt in through both of them at the top. go, old front lines off. So these have been bolted on and torqued up at the calipers. I've left these little heat shrink bits up for the time being, just in case I want to rotate the fitting at all, but normally I'll slide them down and make them look nice. These little rubbers here of like where it goes through clips and clamps and stuff, we may not need them. We'll check that in a bit later. But one thing I just wanted to go through, and I do see it every now and again, is when you look up here, you need to make sure that when you operate the brake lever, that nothing is catching on the new hoses, it's not rubbing on any wiring or anything like that. And then also when you go full lock, nothing's getting, you know, trapped or caught or restricting it, because the last thing you want is for your brake lines get damaged and there be an issue. But what we will do is we will tie them up somewhere around there, and then they'll go either side of the mudguard, pretty much how they're sitting right now. See, I'll just show you on this one. See, this one sort of goes in a little bit more than we like, so let's just give it a little rotate. Very gently. So if we watch that up there while I rotate it, if I just move that out, there we go. And they just sit really nicely then, like that. And then when the mudguard's back on, I think these will clip into the little clips on the back of that as well. So right, we'll get them tied up and bleed them all up. Another big thing to check, not something you generally expect to have a problem with when buying hoses from HEL, but it's always worth checking that when the bike's on a front paddock stand and the suspension is fully topped out, that your lines have still got play in them, that they're not pulled tight. Because I've seen that before where people have changed things or used a different brand of brake hose or something, and they're not long enough. And the worry there is that if the suspension tops out and yanks a brake hose, it could actually pull out of its fitting, which would be a very bad thing. So always worth checking, get it on an under-yoke stand, make sure that the hoses aren't tight. All good. Next job, fill the reservoir with some of Motil's finest RBF 660. Dot 4 fluid, I'm not a fan of the sort of Dot 5 silicone racing fluids and stuff. They can cause issues. So always stick with the old traditional Dot 4. Use this at BSB level, never had any problems with it. It is good stuff. Goes in all my customer bikes. And this is another little tip actually. I tend to poke 2 holes in the foil lid, so a slightly bigger one and a slightly smaller one. It just makes it a lot easier and neater when you're pouring it in. So we'll get that filled up and start the bleeding process. So being as I haven't got my normal bleeding kit with me, I've only got the air operated one, what I might actually try and do is bleed them old school way, which is how most of you would end up having to do it if you didn't have a fancy bleeder. So the hardest thing to start with is just getting the fluid moving in the first place and sort of getting it somewhere near. And normally when I'm using my normal bleeder, I'll start at the bottom, but yeah, I think we'll have to try and start at the bottom this time. But most bikes nowadays have a bleed nipple at the top of the master cylinder, and obviously if there's any air in there, which there will be to start with, that's not going to help move fluid down to the bottom. So sometimes it's also a good idea to do a fair bit of bleeding up here, because also any air that's down there will eventually work its way up to the top as well. So that's sometimes the best place to start, and also the best place to finish. But let's give it a go, see how we get on. So perseverance is key here. I decided to start at the top because ultimately you need to get fluid into the master cylinder first. So basically you'll pump the lever a few times, then hold it in, then crack the bleed nipple off and let some air out. It will feel like you're not getting anywhere for a little while, but all of a sudden it will come good. So I've done a lot in the master cylinder, then done each caliper, got the worst of the air out, and actually I was surprised how quickly it came up, being as it's been a long time since I've manually bled something. That's the HEL brake lines on and all bled up with the Motil fluid. Worth making a point, I did kind of point it out in the hyperlapse, never fill your brake fluid reservoir right to the top, to the upper level. doesn't leave enough room for sort of expansion, can cause issues with brake sticking on. And you also bear in mind that if you've got like part worn pads in, if you put some new ones in, you know, you need to make sure you check the level afterwards. So as long as it's somewhere a little bit below there, so there's a bit of airspace, that's good. All the bleed nipples have been torqued. I've rolled up some little bits of tissue just to soak up the excess brake fluid which is left in the bleed nipple after you've finished bleeding. You know, people think that their bleed nipples are weeping. Normally it's just the residue that's coming out, so they've all got a bit of tissue stuffed in there at the moment. My mains powered vacuum bleeder does a better job of cleaning out the bleed nipples after you finish bleeding, but obviously, like I said, I haven't got that here, so we'll do it the old school way. I always like to just wipe a finger over all the fittings, make sure there's no leaks, which there isn't. And the other thing I've done is also just pulled the front brake lever bolt out and greased it because it felt a bit on the dry side, and it was actually also missing the nylock nut from underneath, so I put a fresh nylock nut on there. And that, with the braided HEL Performance brake lines, feels absolutely solid as, feels amazing. So that should be perfect on track. Anyway, back on next, a lot more straightforward and a lot easier to bleed. The reservoir's in a bit of an awkward place. I think I'll probably just undo that bolt and pull it out the side to get to that. Maybe cable tie it up. And I'll use my crappy air operated vacuum bleeder to drain it down first. Let's get cracking. And that's the back one done too. It was actually harder to bleed up than the front, surprisingly. It's not one I normally consider to be hard, but for whatever reason it got a bit of air stuck in anywhere and it was in somewhere, and it was really hard to pull it through. Really reminds me how good my little mains vacuum bleeder that I built is when I haven't got it. So must remember to bring that back with me from the Isle of Man. But there we go, full set of functioning HEL Performance brake lines. They really tidy up the bike. They'll give us good lever feel, less sponginess. That's spot on, really. All I've got to do is pull those bits of tissue out, put the rubber caps back on the bleed nipples, and this old girl's going to be ignored for a little bit longer. Park it in the corner while I'm at the TT for the next few weeks. Speaking of the TT, I'm going to try and do some diaries from there over the course of the next couple of weeks. I've tried so hard since I started the channel to get video out every Friday, so I don't think that's going to happen while I'm at the TT, but it does depend on weather. If we have some days that are quiet because the weather's bad, then that means I can do some editing. So what I've got in my head is I'll do one video that will be sort of practice week and get into the TT and stuff, and then the second video will be race week. So hopefully we should have some good footage from that. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Take a look at our other videos and playlists, and we'll see you soon.